Good day everyone, I am Alvin Matthew Ortiz and I'm going to present to you and my members our midterm project called E-Library Management System. First, we have the logging in as interface. This is where users choose how they want to log in, whether as students, librarian, or as an admin. Once they select the role, they are directed to the login page. The login page asks for the user's email and password and includes a show password feature to help the users check their input. Like this. And the show password feature. So the users can go to the register page if they don't have an account yet. Here they will be asked to provide their email, password, and other necessary details to create an account. So after a successful login, if the user wants to end their session, they can simply press the logout button to log out of the system. So in terms of codes or functions, the register user function handles registration by first validating the required fields, the first name, last name, email, and password. So if any fields are empty or have an error, it will throw the validation error. Okay. So next up, it also checks if the email is already taken. If the validation passes, it registers the user as a student, librarian, or admin based on their selection, adding their details to the corresponding array. The function then creates a new user object and stores it in the user's array. After registration, it clears the fields, displays a pop-up message with the user's details, and provides a button to return to the login page. The login user function handles the user login by validating the email and password inputs. It checks the entered credentials against the corresponding user array, students, librarians, or admins, and verifies if a match exists. If found, the user logs in, their details are saved as the current logged in user, and a pop-up confirms the successful login. So if no match is found, it will throw an error message is displayed. The function logs the activity for students and librarians, redirects the users to the appropriate page based on their role, clears the fields, and saves the updated data to the local storage. So that's on my part. Thank you for listening.
Dakal greetings, sir. My name is Luis Gabriel Rosales and I'm here to discuss the HTML parts of our program. Starting with the student page, students can log out, explore the library, or view borrowed books. Clicking Explore Library opens the book list where students can search for books by either ID, title, author, category, or availability. The borrowed book section works the same way but only shows books the students has checked out, and the pop-up system will display alerts for borrowing or returning books. Following this is the librarian page. Librarians can log out, manage books, or view book history. Clicking Manage Books opens the book list where they can add new books by entering the title, author, and category. They can also search books by ID, title, author, category, or availability. The book history section tracks all borrowed and returned books, allowing librarians to search by book ID, student ID, or activity, which is either borrowed or returned. The pop-up system will always display alerts while adding, borrowing, or returning books. Last but not the least is the admin page. Admins can log out, manage students, librarians, book history, and activity history. The student section allows admins to search students by ID, name, year, level, program, academic year, or email, and the librarian section works similarly, showing librarian details and search options. In the book section, admins can search for books by ID, title, author, category, and availability, along with details of who borrowed or added the book. The activity history section logs system actions, allowing searches by user ID, email, activity, or date. And the pop-up system once again provides alerts for important actions.
Hi, my name is Ermina J. Absigyo. I will discuss the student script JS borrow book and return. The borrow book function is a key system feature that handles book borrowing. It first clears existing pop-ups and prompts the user for confirmation. If confirmed, it marks the book as unavailable, assign it to the login user, update the students and librarian records, and logs the activity. A successful message is then displayed and the system updates the book list and save changes. If the user declines, no changes are made. The return book function is a key feature that manages book returns. It first clears any existing pop-ups and asks for confirmation. If confirmed, it updates the book availability, removes it from the student borrowed list, and logs the return in the librarian's record. And activity history, similar to the borrowed book. A success message is then displayed, and the system manages the borrowed books list and save changes. If declined, no changes occur.
Hello, my name is Risha Rabano and I'm here to discuss about the add book. The add book functions allow users to add a new book to the system. It first checks for valid inputs and ensures that all required fields, title, author, and category are provided. If the inputs are valid, it checks for duplicate books IDs, incrementing the book ID if necessary. The new book is then created, logged in the activities array, then added to the book list. The system updates the local storage, clears the input fields, and refreshes the book display. Now, let's dive into the display book. The display book function is responsible for showing the list of all books in a table. It generates rows with the book details, ID, title, author, category, and availability, and provides edit, save, and delete button for each book. It hides or shows certain buttons based on the book's availability status and adds appropriate event handler for editing, save, and deleting books.
Hi, I'm Cecilia May Navarro, and we are done now with the display books. And now let's proceed to display book history. The display book history function displays a history of borrowed and returned books for the login user. It pulls the relevant details from the user's borrowed and returned books history and display them in a table with book ID, title, author, category, borrower details, and activity type. It also includes a delete button for each entry, allowing the user to remove history entries. These functions work together to manage book data, allowing for the addition, display, and management of books and their histories in the system.
Greetings, my name is Joshua Bilayag, and here's the part of the admin.js. In the admin page of an admin can view all the students, librarian accounts, and books. Also each activity of each accounts, and the most notable is an admin. The admin can edit and delete accounts. So let's look how it's done on editing and deleting on a student account. The delete student function handles the deletion of a student. It first prompts the user for confirmation by a pop-up. If confirmed, the function searches for the student in both the users and the student arrays and removes the student from both lists. Afterward, it displays a success message and updates the student list while saving changes to local storage. On to regular section.
I am Rina Seksana, and let's talk about the edit student function. So, the edit student function enables the editing of the student details. It hides the current displayed values and shows input fields for editable attributes like first name, last name, year level, program, and academic year. It also hides the edit button and shows the save button, allowing the user to save any changes made to the student information. Both functions work together to manage student data, allowing for deletion and modification of student records in the system.
Hello guys, my name is Jalaser De Piñapel, and I'll be discussing the miscellaneous function of the try-catch in Register Your User. In this discussion, let's look at the sum of the error handling and pop-up function of the system. Note that this function is present or used throughout the system. And now, let's look at the error handling and registration for student account. The error handling in this function ensures that proper validation is done before proceeding with the user registration. It first checks if all required fields are filled in, such as first name, last name, email, and password. If any of those fields are missing, it throws a validation error with a specific message. Additionally, it checks for issues like incorrect email format, and duplicate email address, triggering an error if any of those conditions are met. If generic validation error occurs, such as missing year, level, or academic career for students, it also throws a validation error. That's all for me, and thank you for watching or listening.
Hello, my name is Villar Sapapagaya and I will present the part 2. If all validation passes and no errors are thrown, the function proceeds with the user registration. If an error doesn't occur any point in the process, it's caught by the catch block. The error then checks to see the instance of validations class, displaying the appropriate message. For any errors, details information about the error, name, message, and stack trace is shown. This approach ensures the system checks for common input errors before proceeding and handles unexpected issues gracefully, proving clear feedback to the user.
Hello everyone, my name is Jeremiah and I will be discussing some of the animation that is present throughout the program. And throughout the system, a simple yet interesting animation is present, like a simple hover effects. This is done by using jQuery instead of CSS. Let's look at this mentioned hover effects at the register page. Note though that this is also the same thing done throughout the other pages. Now let's start at our cute yet friendly mascot, Clive. Using jQuery to create the hover effects on the image Clive element. When hovered, the element is scaled up to 4%, and when the hover ends, it returns to its original size. And let's look at another effects of showing and hiding of passwords. When the button is clicked, it is temporarily reduce the opacity of the icon to 0.2 for a smooth transition. And after a 500 millisecond delay, it checks the conshow variable. If the password is currently hidden, it changes the icon to show and adjusts the button's background color and sets the conshow to false. If the password is visible, it switches to hide image, change the button's background to color again, and set the conshow to true. The icon opacity is restored back to 1. That's all everyone. Thank you for watching.